Recently, I see a lot of people worshipping Sol or Sunna in a more monotheistic way, which I find very interesting. I actually don't have a problem with that. Paganism can be monotheistic in its own way. It happened in the past, it is possible now, especially when we talk about henotheism, which is the idea that there is one divine principle or one divine God that is behind different divine manifestations, or that is the creator of other gods. And some worship historically was often henotheistic, by the way. Or you can be monotheistic, which is basically the idea that you believe there are many gods, but you only worship one of them. Like, for example, Odinus. The only type of monotheism that goes fundamentally against paganism is strict or exclusive monotheism, which says that there is only one right God, one right way, and one right teaching. That goes completely against any kind of basic pagan idea. But I understand why so many people turn to Sunnah, Sol. Not long ago I was in Morocco, and among many others I was curious if I can connect to the Aesir, who are often called more European gods, in another continent. And I actually could connect to them pretty well. But I especially had a strong connection to Sunnah, whose power was so obvious in an African country, and whose power basically determined everything in my day. And this made me realize that there are some gods who are more accessible, and there are some gods who are more universal. And Sunnah, she's both more accessible and I would say more universal. It doesn't matter what part of the world you are, there is some kind of sun worship. Because if it's a hot country, then very simply put, the power of the sun can't be overlooked. And it is really there in the forefront of your thoughts. In contrast, if you are in a more Nordic or colder country, like I am now, then what you can see that those very rare times when there is proper sun, social life and natural life completely changes, and everything suddenly starts to revolve around admiring or worshipping the sun or using out her appearance. Yet, for me personally, it didn't really prove that she's the only god, because there are some gods who are more local. There are some gods who are more harder to access because they require more studying, they require more training and more effort to put in. That doesn't mean that they are less powerful or less meaningful at all. It just means that they are different, and there are also advantages to those kind of approaches. For the way how Sunnah is, there is an obvious advantage, and that is that she's just there for any beginner practitioner who is interested in having a more nature-based spirituality, who is interested in any kind of pagan faith. I mean, Julian himself, the philosopher king, wrote it in his hymn to Helios, the sun god, that the very first thing that kind of opened a spiritual interest in his heart was just seeing the sun, gazing towards the sun, and having this very strong and powerful connection to this deity. And with that in mind, I wish anybody a very nice sunny day.